If you want to start your own AI and automation agency but have spent the last 2 or 3 months watching the same YouTube videos from people claiming that you can be a millionaire in just a week by selling a chatbot, if you are bored of all these lies, then this video is for you, because today I'm gonna give you the personal blueprint I have to build your agency in just 2 weeks. And before you close the YouTube tab, by building your agency, I don't mean you're gonna make 20,000, I don't mean you're gonna make 10,000, I don't even claim that you're gonna make 5,000. I'm saying that you can sign your first client within 2 weeks. And isn't that what you really want? All you want is proof that it's working. Let's be real here for a second. Do you even want 20K per month right now? Do you even believe that it's possible to do something so magical and unique that in 2 weeks you're gonna make 20,000 per month? No, you don't believe it. And frankly, I'm tired of hearing people promise that. So no, I'm not gonna teach you how to run a 20,000 business in just 2 weeks, but I am gonna teach you how you can get your first client and how to have a system that's gonna bring you your second client and then your third and fourth and fifth. So yeah, you can make 10 or 20K per month, but you can do it in a 6-month period. You cannot do it in 2 weeks from now. However, if you don't start and you don't go through the very difficult period of signing your first, your second, and maybe your first 5 clients, then you're never gonna get to that point. So yeah, I blame the YouTube industry and all the influencers for lying to you and selling you the idea that a Go high level subscription and selling chatbot to broke businesses is gonna make you a multimillionaire. That's not gonna happen. What can happen is you can learn not only how to provide value to existing businesses that are already successful, but you also need to cultivate some business knowledge and a level of consistency that will never let you down. So join me as I show you exactly what to do in the first 2 weeks if you want to sign your first client. Let's start in the beginning. If you want to make money, you need to provide something of value. Having a business, that's all there is. You're trying to get other people's money. But they will not just give it to you, you have to provide something of value first. So this is the basic idea, not just behind an AI and automation agency, but also in any business. You're giving something of value and they are paying you money. So let's say that this guy is you and this here is your customer or your customers, depending on how many people you have paying you money. You're giving them something of value and they're paying you money in return. This is what I do, this is what other people do, this is what any business in the planet does. If you go to a restaurant, they're giving you food and that has value to you because you're hungry or because you want to enjoy a different cuisine or something. So they're giving something that you perceive as valuable and you're giving them money in return. When you go to the cinema, same thing. They're giving you entertainment, which you value at that given point in time, and you are paying them 15 bucks in return. So you give value and they pay you money. This is how it works. And that means, in return, that if you want to make money, you have to provide something of value. And there are 2 different parts of this equation. The first part is you need to have something of value to provide. And the second part is you need to provide it to someone. And usually people have something of value, so they are not struggling with the value part, but they're struggling on who they can provide it to. In other words, your problem is not that you cannot build automations, your problem is not that you're not an expert, your problem is that you cannot find clients. And like any other business, the same thing happens in an AI and automation agency. The key to success is finding clients. Now, you're probably thinking, yeah, no shit, Sherlock, but how do I do that consistently? Well, that's a little bit difficult to explain. I'm going to try to explain in this 10 or 15-minute video, depending on how long it's going to take to record it. But essentially, the main problem is that you have been lied to. It's not easy to make 15, 20, 30K per month selling automations. It will never be easy to make any kind of business. So to start things off, I'm going to say no. You cannot just build a chatbot and sell it for 5,000 to each real estate customer that you can find. It's not as easy as that, but it is simple to get your first client and then get your second client, and then you will sort of build your very small empire from that. It's going to take a long time, it's going to take a lot of dedication, but it certainly is possible. I just want to get myself out there and say that, no, man, guys, it's not easy. It's not like a get at it quick scheme. You have to put a lot of effort in, and you have to learn some basic concepts about businesses and making money. So let's start by the basics. You have three things that you need to focus on. First, you need to learn people know what you sell. Then you need to sell it. And after you sell it, you also need to build it. This is if you're selling something that requires building. And we are selling technical solutions, so you need to build the solution. You can also reuse something that you've built before, in which case you still need to build it and install it. It just takes a little less effort. In other words, and more business-facing terms, you have marketing. So in other words, you have marketing, sales, and production. Those are the three departments. And as a solo founder or solopreneur or whatever, you kind of have to be an expert in all of this. And most of the people that are interested in starting a business, they are never in square one. They're usually very good in one of those three little things. So if you're a software engineer, you're very good in production. So this is where I was when I started. You're very good in production, you can build a lot of stuff, but you have no idea how to market yourself and how to sell it. And depending on your strengths and weaknesses, you need to focus your learning to make up of what you lack, not strengthen what you're already good at. In other words, let's say that you have 100 points in development, and you only have 20 points in sales and 10 points in marketing. So let's say that there is a point system and you're playing a video game and you have allocated all these different points to different areas in business. So the question is, what are you going to spend the next 50 points of learning? Are you going to spend them all in production so you can get 115 production? What for? You might be a little better software engineer, but you're still not going to be able to market and sell yourself. So for the next, let me change the color to red. So for the next 50 points, instead of spending them all in production, you have to spend some in sales and in marketing. This is the idea in a nutshell. I know this seems oversimplified, and that's because it is oversimplified, but trust me, this is not a decision that you're going to regret. So this is where I was. I was a software engineer, so I was very, very good in production. And to be honest, for the first, 2 or 3 years, I was just trying to double down on production. I became an even better engineer, but I still couldn't find more clients. I did get some clients here and there, and back then I was building mobile applications for Android. So I did some freelancing, and from word of mouth and referrals, I did get some clients initially. That was back in 2014. But still, I never learned fundamentals of marketing and sales, so I never get any further ahead. And this is what I would like to share with you today. I want to share with you what I would do and what I would try to teach myself. Because remember, I was 20 years old, I had no patience, and I empathize with people that are watching this video and probably in the same place. Probably you're studying software engineer in the university, or maybe you are doing some light freelancing and you want to expand. But you have been bombarded with information. You have been sold the dream that you can do anything in just a month. That's simply not true. People overestimate what they can do in a month, but severely underestimate what they can do in 6 months. Although I think that as a single person recording this YouTube video, I cannot single-handedly change your mind. So I'm gonna do something that goes against every fiber of my being. I'm gonna give you a guide on how to start an agency in 2 weeks without technical knowledge. Now, first disclaimer, this is not how to make 20,000 per month. And you know what? Let's make it super clear by doing this. Make 20K per month. So I'm gonna make this black, and I'm gonna, where is it? I'm gonna draw like a line like this. All right. So that should be sufficient as a disclaimer. This is not how to make 20K per month in 2 weeks. That's impossible. You're not gonna do it. Forget about it. Yeah, I know there are a few people that do it, and technically you might be lucky, and the first project you get, you might get a very big client and they might give you a lot of business. Odds are you're not gonna do it, especially if you are only good at production and not good at sales or marketing. If you're someone with prior business experience getting into AI and automations, and you're very good at marketing and sales, then maybe you can get a very big first client like that. If this is the first time that you're putting yourself out there and trying to communicate with clients, trust me, this is just not going to happen. It may happen in a year, it may happen in 2 years, it's certainly not going to happen in 2 weeks. But you can still start your agency and sign your first client within 2 weeks. And there are 2 ways to do that. One is you can do it on your own, in which case you can continue watching this video, you can subscribe to the channel, and you can continue watching the content I put out there. In the upcoming weeks, I'm going to record a lot more content for beginners that are trying to get into AI and automation. So that's the hard way, because you have to do it on your own. The easy way, you can join our school community for $49 per month, and you can join live calls with me, and I can guide you step by step every single day, because we have a live call every single day, and I can guide you on how to start your agency. But anyway, that's not for everyone. I understand that, I respect that. So for all the people that are not ready yet to join a paid community, you can continue watching this video. Right, so what are we gonna do the first week? The first week, you will create your offer. You need to gather proof in a single place, you need to set up lead gen infrastructure, and you need to do social circle outreach. I understand this is a little bit overwhelming if you're hearing those terms for the first time, so let me explain what each and every one of these is. The first part you need to do is create an offer. And the reason that you need to create an offer, and by the way, I'm going to give you a very quick offer template a little bit later. So the reason that you need to create an offer is, in the beginning, the biggest problem people have is that what I call and what other people call shiny object syndrome. So you see a new thing and you say, oh, I want to sell this new thing. And then a week later, Gemini 3 comes out and you're like, okay, I will try to leverage this. And then another week, some new piece of technology comes out and you are focusing on that. And that just creates decision fatigue, and it just gets you further away from your goal, which is signing your first client. You're much more likely to sign your first client if you decide on one thing to sell and only focus on that, because you're going to be better at explaining it, you're going to be better at building it, you're going to be better at providing value for this single thing. It's like the restaurant example from before. Imagine if I was if I wanted to start a restaurant, and on the first week, it's going to be an Italian restaurant, but then a friend tells me about this Mexican cuisine, and I'm like, all right, maybe this should be a Mexican restaurant. So I change everything, and then the third week, I make it an Asian restaurant, and then I make it a Greek restaurant. So, you know, I'm never going to build a successful business. And at least at this example, I still own a restaurant. Imagine if I start building a restaurant, and halfway through, I decide to make it a club. And then 2 weeks later, I decide to make it an art gallery. Like, it doesn't make sense. And this is the exact thing that people have trouble too. They start and they don't have an offer, and by not having an offer, they haven't wrote down what is it that they're gonna do for clients. So let's go about building an offer. Let's start with the offer template, all right? So an offer, you don't need to overcomplicate it. This is not your final offer anyway. You just need something to start with. An offer essentially is the following. You say, I build X for Y businesses, and the price is M. For example, I build lead generation system for real estate businesses, and the price is 2,000 setup plus 500 per month retainer. This is something that I sold really to a real estate business, so this is the offer I had. Of course, it was much more intricate than that, but essentially this was what I sold. I sold a lead generation system to a real estate firm, and the price was 2,000 setup plus 500 per month retainer. Or another thing I sold, I built content generation automations for short form content creators, and the price is 1.5K one time one-time deal, no retainer in this one. And you can do any offer you want, but they all must have the same format. I build X, and X needs to be something very specific. For Y, Y is your target niche, and this is also needs to be something specific. And the price. The price also needs to be something specific. You see a pattern here. And that will save you a ton of time in decision making. And also, I'm going to give you a little hack. Instead of phrasing your offer like this, you can also give them something for free. So that's like a little more advanced hack for people that want to take it one step further. You can say I build X for Y and the price is M, plus a bunch of free stuff. That makes your offer much more appealing. And bear with me here, it's going to make sense in a minute. So for example, I'm going to take the previous example, and this is one step closer to the offer that I actually sold to this client. I build a lead generation system for medium-sized real estate firms, and the price is 2,000 setup plus 500 per month retainer, plus 1 month support for free, plus free copywriting consultation, and you tell them what the value of this is, plus a Q&A website chatbot, and you tell them what the value of this is. Let me explain why I give those things for free. The 1 month support that I give for free is to give them a taste what value they're going to get during a support period. When I sell retainer to clients, I don't want them to pay me on a monthly basis, because I noticed that if clients pay you for the service on a monthly basis, when they have a low month, or for example, when they don't need you for a single month, which may happen, they are going to negotiate. They're gonna say, hey, maybe I don't pay you this month, or maybe you give me a discount for next month, and that adds a lot of administrative effort, especially if you have a lot of clients. So what I like to do is I like to give them 1 month support for free and then sell them to a 6 month or a 12-month package on the retainer. That's a little bit more advanced, so I don't want to get into it right now. So I'm just gonna move further ahead to the free copywriting consultation. This is a little bit sneaky because I build a lead generation system, and part of lead generation is copywriting. If I'm sending cold emails to someone, I need to write the cold email. But technically, I'm not getting paid to write the cold email. I'm getting paid to build the automation. However, the client's still gonna need someone to write the cold emails. Yeah, they can write it themselves, but then it's not gonna perform as well because they have no idea what they're doing. So if and that's against me, that's not in my favor. I want them to be happy with the whole system. If the system doesn't bring them new leads, then they won't be happy. It doesn't matter if the automation performed and they screwed up the copywriting themselves. No one's ever gonna acknowledge that. The only thing that they're gonna remember is Dimitris built them a system and that system did not perform. So the copywriting is a part that you will inevitably have to do for your clients. It's not very time consuming, and since they're gonna need it anyway, but they're not willing to pay for it, you might as well phrase it as a free add-on. And that way, the original offer is much more appealing. So your choices here is not it's not you will either give it for free or you won't. Your choices here is you will either say that you give it for free or you're just gonna do it anyway. And the same thing is gonna happen on the next offer, but first I wanna say a few things about the last thing, chatbot, because a lot of people have asked me about this. So the idea here is you give something that has a lot of perceived value, but it costs nothing to you. You have built chatbots before, at least I have built chatbots before. And I have built chatbots for similar businesses. And that means I can reuse one of my previous chatbots, give it to them. That's ultra sneaky tactics here. I'm gonna give it to them for free for 3 reasons. 1, it makes the whole offer much more appealing because they get more free stuff. 2, once they get used to the chatbot, they would like more features added to it. So at first it will just be a Q&A chatbot, but then they will also like to build appointments, and they will ask me themselves for an upsell. So that's a very sneaky tactic here. I'm basically installing this chatbot as a Trojan horse. And the third and most important reasons is, for any business out there, the more services you provide, the more loyal they are to you because they don't have any other choice. If you're someone that has built a lot of systems, you're someone that has control over their company. I'm not saying you have control over the decisions that the company make, but they cannot replace you just because they disagreed or just because they don't like your prices or just any other stupid reason. Because if they replace you, they also have to replace the person that builds all these systems for them. So with this offer, they know that replacing me means that they have someone that they need to find someone to do their lead generation system and maintain it. They also need to find someone that's going to maintain it on a monthly basis. And that someone also needs to have copywriting knowledge, and that someone also needs to maintain their chatbot. Like, they're not going to find that someone very easily. So replacing me becomes more difficult for them. And that's the same idea in the other offer as well. I built content-generated automations. The price is 1.5K. Plus, I set up many chats for you. If this is a content creator, they usually are a good case for ManyChats, and ManyChats is a software that automates chatting on all social media. So I can set it up for you. This is a little bit of effort, but it's not as much effort, so it's something that I am willing to give away for free, plus it follows the same logic as the chatbot, which means I will set up many chats for them, but then they will need more features, they will need more setup, they will need more automations built on top of it, and these are all potential upsells I can do later. And plus, I'm going to give them video guides to maintain the system on your own. That's a little bit controversial, so let me explain it. Content creators are weird people sometimes. They usually have a lot of ego. They have built a business on their own because a lot of content creators are making money, and not all of them are millionaires, but a lot of them are making a lot more money than what they would in a 9-to-5 job. And they're mostly doing it on their own. Sometimes they have video editor, or sometimes they have people that create reels for them, but for the most part, they are on their own. They don't have real employees, they don't have partners, and they have a lot of ego because of that. They think they know about business, and they think they can do everything on their own. And unfortunately, this is something that makes it very difficult to sell a retainer package to a content creator. So I like to go around it. I like to make it part of my offer that I'm gonna give them video guides to maintain the system on their own. And that makes them happy. That just takes away a whole objection. It just takes away this objection, and I never had to deal with it. And what usually happens is they watch the video guides, they try to maintain it on their own, and they get bored in the process, and they reach out to me for an update. So I'm never gonna sell retainer to them, but instead of selling a 3,000 retainer for 6 months, in those 6 months, I'm gonna upgrade this project to 2 times, so I'm gonna make this 3,000 anyway. It's a little bit of a weird model with content creators, and generally speaking, I don't like working with content creators, even though I am one, for that specific reason. Sometimes, not all of them, some of them are great people to work with, but a lot of them are just people that have no idea about business, and they have just built a lot of ego, and it's very hard to have them as clients. Anyway, that's about the creating an offer part. Then you need to gather proof in a single place. So let's do that. Gathering proof in a single place means that all the proof that you have, and by proof I mean case studies, things that make you unique, your CV, testimonials from previous clients, anything you have that can build you up. All of that needs to be in a single place. And that's because when you're reaching out to someone, you want to send them only one link and say, hey, visit this link and you're gonna learn all about me. And they visit this link and they get bombarded with reviews, case studies, your stellar CV, and whatever. That can be whatever you want. It can be your Upwork profile, it can be an Instagram, and you can post reels with your case studies and testimonials and all that. I don't recommend that unless you're already a content creator and you have strong Instagram. So you know what, maybe I'm just gonna add 2 little parentheses here and then a little X, because I don't recommend it. But you can do LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a fantastic place to build your social proof. And also, if you're a little more technically technically gifted, you can build a website. If building a website is something that's going to take you 2 weeks to do it, then don't build a website. But if you're a software engineer and building a website is just a few hours process for you, you can just jump on Webflow, borrow a template from someone. There are a bunch of free templates out there. Build a website, fill it with copywriting from ChatGPT, and you're good to go. So if you can do that, a website is a very nice place to start. Okay, so this is about it. Again, we're in the first week. We're going to create an offer, gather proof in a single place, and now we're going to set up the lead generation infrastructure. Very quickly, you need warm leads and you need cold leads. And for you, that means warm leads are leads that already know that they have a problem and they're looking for someone to implement a solution. And you can find those people on Upwork and on Fiverr or on any freelancing marketplace. So you need to set up an Upwork or a Fiverr account, but you also need cold leads. You need to diversify. You don't need to be dependent on a single platform. And for that reason, you need a cold lead generation system. By the way, cold lead generation is your end game. When you have more budget, you're going to put more money into cold lead generation, and that will get you more clients. For you, that means either set up cold email outreach with Instantly or any other tool, or set up LinkedIn outreach with HeyReach or any other tool that there is out there. Phantom Buster is also really good. I just think HeyReach is beginner friendly. It has limitations, but it's very friendly for beginner because it's so easy to set up. You just connect your account and you start lead generation. It's literally that simple. And finally, you need to do social circle outreach. So and I'm already 24 minutes into the video. That's, wow, I didn't expect that this would take this long. Okay, so you need to reach out to your friends, co-workers, and relatives, whatever, ex-bosses, current bosses, and you need to let them know about the service that you're selling. And I have designed this little flywheel here. So basically, here's what you need to do. You need to call them, and then you need to have a quick chat, like, how are you? How are you doing? We haven't talked in a long time. How's the weather? Just filler stuff for a couple of minutes. Then you need to pitch your service very, very quickly. So something like, all right, I started doing automations, I'm doing that, I've helped a real estate business automate this, I built this chatbot, and I'm doing all of that. Do you know what this is? Very, very quickly. They're going to say yes or they're going to say no. It doesn't really matter. All you need to do is you need to get out there what it is that you're doing. So you need to get them thinking, all right, how can I leverage that into my business? This part is really important because at that point, they expect you to sell them. So this is where you flip the script and you don't sell them, you just ask for referrals. So you say, so this is what I'm doing, and the reason I'm calling you is I'm wondering if you know anyone that can be benefited from this type of service. They're gonna pause and they're gonna say, okay, what do you mean? Like who? And then you're going to give them examples. You're going to say, okay, so maybe do you know someone that runs a real estate business if your target audience is real estate businesses? Or do you know any content creators? Or do you know any businesses that they have a form on their website that's not performing very well? Because if so, I can install a chatbot to them instead of their traditional form to capture leads. So from this conversation, they're going to start thinking, all right, how can I do that? And they are incentivized to do so because people generally, I like to believe people are good. And since you're gonna be targeting people that are your friends or co-workers or ex-bosses or even relatives, they're going to be inclined to help you. Those are not strangers. They're not gonna be as inclined as it needs to give you money because you don't have proof that you're very good at what you do then. And even then, I don't think that working with relatives or friends is a very good idea. But asking them for referrals is an amazing idea. And think about it. If I'm your friend and I refer another business to you and you do a very good job, I also get praised because I made that referral. And that creates a very good source of income for you if you do it correctly. But this is the most important thing. You don't sell to your close network. You ask them for referrals. That's super important. I know this is a bit much, but this is what your first week should look like. And to make things a little bit easier, I prepared what should be your expected outcome for this first week. So number one, you need to set up your website or LinkedIn or whatever with proof. So add reviews, your CV, case studies, everything you have, add it in a single place. And if I were you, I would either do it on a website or on LinkedIn. If you are a software engineer or have any sort of experience with creating websites, build a website. Otherwise, just do a LinkedIn profile. Then contact at least 5 people in your network and ask them for referrals using the method I just described. Also, create your Upwork or Fiverr account and a full setup. If you don't know how to do it, you can join the school community or you can subscribe to the channel and watch one of the free videos. Joining the school community is the fastest way that you can do it because, actually, let me show you this real quick. So the community is called, First AI Client. And in here, we are giving real-time feedback to people whenever they have questions. For example, this person here is asking for advice with a problem that he's having and he got a Loom video as a response. And the same thing goes with everyone. This person also had a problem and he got some pretty long advice here, but he also got an 8-minute Loom video. And it's the same thing with everybody. And this is a more relevant example to you. This person right here, he posted his Upwork profile and I gave him a review, or rather my partner gave him a review, so he will make his profile better. If you want to do it on your own, it's fine. I'm just saying that joining a paid community is going to make it so much quicker than you. And even if you cannot implement your feedback on your own, if you have questions, we have live calls every single day for every possible thing that you may need help with. So if you need help with clients, join Monday's call. If you need help with lead generation, join Tuesday. Live coding or any sort of tech stuff, Wednesday, sales, Thursday. So we have a live call every single day for every single thing that you might need. If you want to do it on your own, this is the way though. You need to create your Upwork profile, and by create I mean you need to create it, you need to upload a video, you need to write your service, you need to upload your case studies, you need to select the price, you need to have everything set up. Same thing with Fiverr if you choose Fiverr. And number 4, you need to create an Instantly account for cold emails or a HeyRich account for LinkedIn outreach. So Instantly.ai is a cold email platform. So you're basically finding, contacting, and closing your ideal clients. This is their pitch. Very quickly, it's a platform that you can send cold emails. And HeyRich.io is a platform that you connect your LinkedIn account and they're doing your outreach for you. Referral links for both services are in the description. If you don't want to use the referral links, just type the link or search for the service on Google. It will help me if you use the link though. By the way, those are both services that I use in my agency as well. So just a little thing for you to know there. So this is the outcome for your first week. Now, what about the second week? This is where people lie to you, all right? So the second week heavily depends on whether or not you have sales calls. So instead of lying to you and saying, hey, this is what you're going to do the second week, and then the third week, and then the fourth week, I'm going to tell you the truth. The week number 2 and every week after that only depends on one single question. Do you have a sales call? Yes or no? So for the second week, your target is to schedule call with people from your network so you can bring more sales calls. So this is your main target. But also you need to start your Upwork lead generation so you can bring more sales calls. And also you need to start your cold outreach to bring more sales calls. And if you have sales calls, you must join the sales call, crush it, close the client, always record your sales and watch them back. And good players always watch back the replay of the match so they know what they did good and what they can improve on. Or you can join our school community so we can review it for you. However, if you haven't closed the sales call, and this is where people screw up because they either give up or, God forbid, they try something different. So if you don't have a sales call yet, what you can do is you can build demo products. You can build automations, you can build agents, you can build whatever you see people in Upwork and Fiverr are asking for. And after you build it, you can, where it is, you can go back and post it as proof in the place that you created. And this is how it looks if we zoom out. So basically, you're going back to the beginning. You're building demo products and you're going all the way back to the beginning and gathering them all in a single place. I hate to burst your bubble, but every week after that, until you close your first client, is gonna look exactly like this, like exactly to the point. Every week is going to be about doing lead generation, boring, soul-crushing, reaching out to prospects, until and joining sales call until you sign that first client. After you sign your first client, that's a whole other thing because you have to add in your routine the production, you have to add the delivery, you have to add the client management, you have to add a bunch of other stuff in your day. But until you sign your first client, nothing else matters. Only lead generation, and all your focus must go there. It's just, I know that you can not do 15 hours per day lead generation, so this is why this is also something very important, building demo products that then you're going to use as extra proof. So think about this. The first week maybe you have no demos, nothing, so you don't close a client. All right, so you're going to build 2 demo products, and that is showcased down here, because for the second week, let's say that you have nothing, right? By the time that the second week ends, you're still gonna have sent 50 Upwork proposals, 1,000 cold emails, or whatever the equivalent is for LinkedIn outreach. LinkedIn outreach has a maximum. I'm not sure what that is right now. I think it's 25 emails per week, but I'm not sure. Anyway, so you're gonna do your cold and warm outreach. You need to speak with 5 more people in your network, and you need to build 2 demo products. So if you haven't closed the client, then next week, when you're gonna go back, you're gonna send another 50 Upwork proposals. So the total is going to be like 100. So let's do it like this. Let me explain a little bit clearer. So week 2, you're gonna have 50 Upwork proposals, 50 Upwork, 1,000 emails, and 2 demos. And let's say you don't close a client. Then we go, week 2, not week 20. Then you go to week 3. Now in week 3, you have 100 Upwork proposals, because it's 50 from the second week plus 50 this week. And then you have 2,000 emails, and now you have 4 demos, which means the people that you reached out this week, plus the previous people that you reached out next week, the people that you reached out the previous week, plus the 50 people that you reached out this week, they're gonna watch more demos, and they're gonna see more proof. And then the 4th week, there's gonna be 150, there's gonna be 3,000, and there's gonna be 6 demos. And this is why staying consistent matters so much, especially in this kind of business. Because week after week after week, you're going to increase your presence, and you're also going to increase your volume. So it's inevitable that sooner or later, if you keep doing this, you're going to sign your first client, and that will help you finance sending more Upwork proposals per week or sending more cold emails. So your second client is going to come much faster, and then your third client, 4th client, until you reach around 5 or 6 active clients, at which point you probably need to consider hiring someone either for the lead generation part or for the production part. And I usually recommend your first hire is someone that can help you with production, so you can focus 100% on lead generation and sales. So yeah, in a nutshell, this is it. I'm gonna share this document in the description, so go in the description and I'm gonna share all of this. And I'm also gonna share a link to our school community, which I'm gonna have it right here. It's First AI Client. I remind you, the cost right now, it's only $49 per month. It's gonna increase once we get to 72 members. We're gonna increase it, when we go to 100 members, we're gonna increase it to $79 per month. And what you get when you join is, we have a classroom that we update with video content every single week, but that's not the important thing, because we also have YouTube for video content. We have a lot more content in the school community, but again, that's not the super important part. The important part is the daily calls. So if you're alone, if you feel like you have no guidance, if you're not accountable, if you have joined other communities and nobody paid attention to you, then this might be a good fit, because we are doing live calls and we're recording them, and we're helping each of our members achieve their personal goals and signing their first AI client. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.